Mr. Frazier, you'll be presenting on AB 2559. It enjoys a do pass recommendation.
Yes, Madam Speaker, and I'll keep this brief.
A motion by Mr. Bigelow and a second by Mr. Quirk. Go ahead, Mr. Frazier.
I'll let my witness present, and I'll keep my close.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, committee members, thank you for your time today. Tonight, I'm here in support of Assembly Bill 2559. Tourism in California is extremely important to California's economy and jobs. Tourism is fifth largest employer in California, employing over 1 million people in 2015. Tourism brought in 251.5 million visitors last year. Tourism generated $121 billion in direct travel-related spend in 2014. These numbers are collective of every city and regional efforts along with Visit California. Cities rely on a variety of ways in attracting visitors to their destinations. One of these most popular is the use of visitor centers to provide information to a potential traveler in hopes they select their destination to spend a few days and visit the surrounding attractions. Freeway signage is a vital tool which provides these potential travelers the awareness that a visitor center exists at that exit. Unfortunately, the existing code requires a visitor center to be located within 0.5 miles of the exit. This prerequisite is difficult to meet in many areas, including ours. In addition, typically land or space this close in proximity to the exit is typically comes at a significantly higher cost, making it cost prohibitive to the nonprofits that operate these visitor centers. Changing the code to allow for visitor centers to be within 2 miles of an exit will greatly increase the number of destinations that would have the ability to request such signage. We support AB 2559 and request an aye vote.
Thank you. Any other speakers in support? Speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
No file.
Ms. Eggman, you had a question.
Mr. Frazier, is it your birthday today?
Oh. Yes, Ms. Eggman, it is.
Happy birthday.
Well, that piece of information changes everything. Mr. Frazier, would you like to wait till everybody else presents to do your close? Just to spend a little bit more time with us. I'm joking. Your close, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to thank the committee for allowing us to present today, and just understanding that one size doesn't fit all when it comes to the economy, and we want to be able to foster economic development in our communities, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
We had a motion by Mr. Bigelow, a second by Mr. Quirk, and happy birthday. That gets out on an A roll call.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
Mr. Linder. Thank you, Mr. Linder.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
This is a due pass recommendation.
Thank you. I will be brief. I'm here to present AB 2510, which will provide uniformity to the concealed carry license program in the state of California. This legislation will authorize local law enforcement agencies to issue CCW ID cards approved by the California Department of Justice.
Move the bill.
The bill presents minor state costs and absorbable workload for the Department of Justice to approve local licenses. Sponsored by the Sheriff's Association, we have worked together with the National Rifle Association, California Rifle and Pistol Association, to create the bill that protects the rights of gun owners while still providing the right safeguards to continue having a successful CCW program. Thank you, and respectfully ask for an aye vote.
There was a motion by Mr. Quirk and a second by Mr. Bigelow. Speakers in support?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members. Corey Salzillo on behalf of the sponsors, the California State Sheriff's Association. This bill was passed unanimously out of Policy Committee. We believe the costs are very minor and probably absorbable to DOJ. The cards will be pretty uniform in process. If a sheriff or police chief chooses to issue them, there is no mandate to do anything under this bill, so we appreciate your aye vote. Thank you.
Additional speakers in support?
Madam Chair and members, Matthew Seiberling on behalf of the Association for Los Angeles Deputy Sheriffs, the Los Angeles Police Protective League, and the Riverside Sheriff's Association, all in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Speakers in opposition?
Madam Chairman, members of the committee, Craig DeLuz with the Firearms Policy Coalition. We're opposed to this measure because, as it's been expressed and been promoted, they say that it creates uniformity. But if you read the actual language of the bill, it does say that the Department of Justice shall create an exemplar. But it says that the issuing authorities may use it, meaning they don't have to use it. It then places a requirement or a mandate on the Department of Justice by saying, if the ID has this information, then it must be approved, or they shall approve it. And our concern, quite frankly, is, right now there are 58 counties, there are 400 cities that could be potentially issuing concealed carry permits. Imagine up to over 400 different IDs throughout the state of California. There's going to need to be somebody who's going to need to approve each and every one of those IDs. Somebody's going to need to catalog the information on each one of those IDs, make sure that all of the appropriate law enforcement agencies have all of the exemplars and keep those exemplars up to date. They're also going to need to notify FFLs, because FFLs are required to use a concealed carry permit as proof of residency. Someone's got to do all of this work to make sure that everyone is informed. And the concern is that I'm willing to bet that's going to cost more than $150,000. I think that our organization very much agrees with the author and with the sponsors of the bill is we would like to see a more modern ID. But what protects the CCW holder is the uniformity. As ugly as the current ID currently is, at least if an individual who has one takes it out and shows it to an officer, he will recognize it because they all look the same. Our desire is to see the bill include a requirement for some sort of uniformity in terms of how the ID looks. Because I'm trying to imagine an officer I'm trying to imagine somebody being pulled over in a county far away from where they live. And they pull out that ID in the middle of the night. And the officer then is tasked with, they've never seen this ID before. They're now tasked with the idea of, do I go back to the car and call this in, leaving an individual who just told me he's armed sitting in the car? 99.9% of the time, it would probably be handled appropriately. It only takes that one time for an individual's rights to be subverted, for the lawsuit to come forward, and this bill to cost more than what the suspense level is. It's our desire to see that uniformity put into the bill, and we would love to support it. But at this moment, we tried to work with the author
You have 20
from the very beginning, and unfortunately, so far that uniformity hasn't been included. Whatever decision you make here, we hope that you encourage the author and the sponsors to put that uniformity in the bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Are there any other speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
No file.
I would like to just comment that this is a fiscal committee, and providing the type of uniformity asked for would raise the cost exponentially of this bill. So we are trying to keep the cost down. So thank you. Mr. Linder, do you have a close?
Thank you for your fiscal conservancy and that consideration. I, again, remind members that this is indeed a fiscal committee. This did pass unanimously out of the policy committee. But in response to just that one minor policy issue, currently county sheriffs are issuing these permits with no real understanding of the legality of it. So this provides some validity to these types of licenses, and I respectfully ask for your vote.
Thank you, and that gets out on an A roll call.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lopez. You'll be presenting on AB 1909. It enjoys a due pass recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. Today, presenting AB 1909, which will provide increased penalty to bad acting prosecutors who felony they knowing withholding evidence. The cost with this bill is minor, and continue working with the opposition, and I move the bill forward to address their concerns. Today, with me, I have witnessed and testified in support.
Thank you. We have a motion by Ms. Bonilla and a second by Ms. Eggman. Speakers in support.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ignacio Hernandez on behalf of the California Attorneys for Criminal Justice. We are the sponsor of the measure, really just trying to focus on the very few individuals who do not act appropriately. We do believe that the costs are a good estimate that was produced by the committee, and we also think it may save some money if there's even one individual that we prevent from being wrongfully convicted. We ask for your support.
Any other speakers in support? Speakers in opposition?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, Sean Hoffman with the California District Attorneys Association. We are opposed to the bill primarily on policy grounds, but certainly the creation of any new felony will have significant costs that goes along with that. For those reasons, we ask for a no vote. Thank you.
Department of Finance?
No file.
Mr. O'Bernalty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Lopez, why would it not be fair in this case to apply the provisions of this bill to the defense as well as the prosecution?
May I address, Madam Chair?
Through the chair, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Assembly Member, for the question. The way this was structured was to mirror off of statutes that are already on the books now, focusing on individuals who represent the state and the people of California who have an enhanced duty to follow the law. So prosecutors under both statutory and constitutional duty to provide evidence to the other side, not simply to engage in adversarial kind of games, but to actually share information, even if it goes against their own case. So we have a law in the books now for law enforcement to prevent them from doing the same thing. So for defense attorneys, they're under a different obligation. Their obligation is to defend their clients. It is somewhat different. And so while this is not focused on the statutory requirement to hand over evidence before trial, that is what is the equal responsibility of both sides, like turn over 30 days before trial. This isn't getting at that. This is getting at a DA who withholds that evidence, not because of a timeline, because they simply intend to get the wrong person. And that's why we specify in the bill that there has to be an intent, that the withholding of the evidence is intended to get the wrong person to be convicted. So it's slightly different. They just have different obligations.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to close, Ms.
I
Lopez?
respectfully ask for your iPod.
Thank you. This gets out on a B roll call with Ms. Chang and Mr. Quirk not voting. Next, we have Mr. Thurmond. Mr. Thurmond, AB 2272, enjoys a due pass recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On AB 2272, as you know, it's about workplace safety. This is to prevent noxious fumes that hurt patients and nurses and doctors. These are fumes that are caused by surgery and lasers, and we have come up with ways to address them. I appreciate the recommendation, Madam Chair. I just want to let you know that we've worked with opposition. We found a path to work through that opposition, and we think that the costs are minor and can be absorbed. We respectfully ask for your aye vote on this bill.
Thank you. Speakers in support.
Madam Chair, Member Stephanie Roberson on behalf of the California Nurses Association, proud sponsors of Assemblymember Thurmond's bill. We've known since the early 80s and 90s through credible agencies that harmful health effects on healthcare workers and patients when human tissue is destroyed during surgical procedures. Excuse me. When tissue is destroyed, for instance, by laser or surgical incisions, that there's a smoke plume that generates. That's a byproduct. On plume, certain toxic vapors, benzene, cyanide, formaldehyde, and other viruses and bloodborne pathogens are contained in those fragments. Plume is also mutagenic, cancer-causing particles. Studies show that 1 gram of tissue burned by laser means is equivalent to smoking 3 cigarettes a day. 1 gram burned by electrocautery means is equivalent to smoking 6 cigarettes a day. Plume causes ocular respiratory issues, even laryngeal papilloma. That's HPV of the throat. This bill is essential to the protection of healthcare workers, not to mention patients who are still exposed to plume when they're not under general anesthesia. So with that, I'd like to defer the rest of my time to Penny Smalley. Thank you.
Madam Chair and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to address you today. My name is Penny Smalley, and I am here representing the International Council on Surgical Plume. We are a nonprofit clinical advocacy organization committed to eliminating surgical plume through education, research, and support for standards and legislation. I've been an advocate for plume evacuation for close to 30 years, and I am a contributing author to almost every national and international standard and regulation that has ever been written on this subject. I've seen a significant impact on clinical practice when consensus standards become mandates. This shift to required compliance prevents staff from having to work in an at-risk environment and patient safety put in jeopardy because of someone's individual refusal to use an evacuation device in the operating room. A broad range of devices already is available. There's a workable solution out there for every facility, regardless of size, from a small private office to a large teaching hospital. Clean air in the operating room can be a reality without any changes to surgical techniques or work practices. These devices are simple to obtain, easy to learn, simple to operate, and simple to retrofit to existing equipment. They yield great health benefits regardless of this simplistic approach. Costs are reasonable and range anywhere between $1,000 and $5,000 per device, some even less with consumables. ICSP supports this bill because we believe that no one should have to accept a known risk in their workplace when mitigating that risk takes little but the desire to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there additional speakers in support? Speakers in opposition?
Good morning, Catherine Austin Scott with the California Hospital Association. I think our concerns are centered around the Cal-OSHA process. As we've discussed with the author and the sponsors, the Cal-OSHA process can be incredibly prescriptive depending on how their charter or their responsibility is for carrying out. So we are concerned that the bill could be too prescriptive, and while we appreciate that there are ways and methods by which we could do this that could keep the expense down and the procedure required, we are concerned that the bill as written today would require a massive retrofit of our, or could require a massive retrofit of our surgical suite or change surgical procedures. We've expressed this to the author's office and the sponsors, and I think we're working on a solution to make sure that Cal-OSHA considers, as discussed, the hospital environment, the surgical environment, and the cost to the hospital. So we are continuing to work on that at this time. But for the bill in print, we are opposed to the prescriptive nature, as I said, concerned about that it could result in massive costs to the hospital. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other?
Move the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Quirk. We have a motion by Mr. Quirk, a second by Mr. Wood. Department of Finance?
No file.
Ms. Eggman has a question.
Just, I think, more of a comment. I don't know if anyone else is listening to NPR coming in this morning, but I think in line with this bill, do you know the third leading cause of death in the United States is from medical personnel error? Just plain things that people missed or didn't get included, but it is now currently the third leading cause of death. Things that could have been avoided, but were not. So I'm very supportive of this bill.
No other questions? Mr. Thurman, would you like to close?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the committee's recognition that for simply $1,000 or maybe $5,000 to have the proper ventilation, we can ensure that the patient is safe, that nurses are safe, and that doctors are safe. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. This gets out on a B roll call with Ms. Chang voting aye. Thank you, Mr. Thurman.
Thank you.
Mr. Lowe. I want to take a moment to acknowledge, I know we have some foster youth who have shadowed some of the members who are in the audience today, including my own, who is from Chula Vista, Kiara, who's in the audience, and I know a number of the members have theirs as well. So thank you for being with us today. Mr. Lowe.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, for recognizing our honored guests. Before I begin, I would like to waive presentation on AB 1831, 1837, and 2740. And this bill presenting before you here is Assembly Bill 1887, which would ban state-funded travel to states with discriminatory laws.
It does have a due pass recommendation.
And with me here today is Joe Michael from Equality California and Robbie Sumner from the AG's office.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members. I will make this quick. California is a national leader when it comes to protecting the rights of its LGBT citizens and their families, and the laws targeted by AB 1887 are completely out of step with California's values and laws. And as the analysis states, the cost to implement this bill, both to the Attorney General's office and to state agencies, should be minor and absorbable. We respectfully urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Speakers in support?
Yes, Robbie Sumner. Robbie Sumner here on behalf of Attorney General Kamala Harris. Very strong support.
Martha Guerrero, representing the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, in support.
Sylvia Solisha on behalf of the City and County of San Francisco and the Office of Mayor Ed Lee in strong support.
Thank you. Speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
No file.
We have a motion by Ms. Eggman, a second by Mr. Quirk. Seeing no questions, would you like to close, Mr. Lowe?
Just want to make mention that this bill also has bipartisan support, and we respectfully ask for your aye vote.
And it gets out today on a B roll call with Ms. Chang voting aye. Thank you. While we're waiting for Mr. Kansen Chu, we will have some more committee members present, starting with Mr. Wood. Mr. Wood, you're presenting on AB 2516. It enjoys a due pass recommendation. I am sorry.
I liked it at first. Thank you very much. Can we rephrase?
I'd like to suggest this is a suspense candidate.
Oh, man. It was my birthday last month. Thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity. Last year, the legislature passed the Medical Marijuana Regulation and Safety Act, which for the first time set up a regulatory framework for California's medical marijuana industry. Those regulations are designed to address the environmental, public health, and public safety concerns that have surfaced within the industry. By creating a clear line between the good actors and the bad actors, law enforcement will finally have the clarity they have needed for nearly 2 decades. The key to this framework's success is ensuring that new and existing businesses get licensed and come into regulatory compliance. Current law lumps all cannabis cultivation sites that are 5,000 square feet or less into one license. We are actually proposing a sort of a sub-license category here. AB 2516 would create a cottage license to encourage the Department of Food and Ag to develop regulations that are appropriate for the thousands of small growers that currently grow much less than 5,000 square feet. AB 2516 rounds out the cultivator licensing structure so that the MMRSA accurately reflects the business activity going on throughout the state. It is true that nobody can possibly produce an accurate number for how many farmers would apply for this license, but frankly, I think it's irrelevant. The Department of Food and Ag was given the authority to charge fees equal to the cost of regulation. If the department does its job well, the fees imposed on the growers will cover all costs of regulation and enforcement. More cultivators into the regulated market is not a bad outcome. It's a very good thing for the state. Here in support is Hezekiah Allen of the California Growers Association.
Chair, committee members, thank you to the author for this important legislation. Since the signing of the MMRSA, we've been all over the state. We've heard from existing operators in pretty much every district in the state that this license type will increase participation. Understood that there is a cost to any new licensing program. However, as the author pointed out, fees can recoup those costs, and the benefits of having a well-regulated, licensed medical cannabis industry far outweigh that initial startup cost. So we are pleased to offer our strong support for the legislation today.
Thank you. Additional speakers in support?
Rich Miller on behalf of Americans Alliance for Medical Cannabis and ASA, Americans for Safe Access, in strong support. Thank you.
Thank you. Speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
We have no approved position, but we note the Food and Agriculture Department estimates costs are minor and absorbable because they're already in the process of developing regulations. Further, the Act authorizes the department to recover costs through license fees.
Sure you can't take it off suspense?
Not today.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Mr.
the
Wood.
opportunity to present. Thank you very much.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, Mr. Quirk. Mr. Quirk, this is AB 1820. It enjoys a due pass recommendation.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members. I will keep my remarks short since we're in a fiscal committee and direct costs associated with this bill are negligible. AB 1820 will regulate the use of unmanned aircraft systems by law enforcement agencies by requiring they develop a set of policies to govern their use, allow for public input in the process, and protect private property against unlawful surveillance. Unmanned aircraft, also known as drones, can be beneficial to law enforcement in assessing a hostage situation, addressing bomb threats, and detecting forest fires. Despite the possible benefits, there is potential for misuse without clearly established policies. AB 1820 seeks to balance law enforcement's need to use this technology to fight crime with more transparency and accountability.
We have a motion by Ms. Eggman and a second by Mr. Garcia.
I am finished my presentation. I ask for your aye vote.
Speakers in support? Speakers in opposition?
Good morning, Danielle Kando-Kaiser on behalf of the Electronic Frontier Foundation. We want to thank the author and his staff for working hard with us on this bill. At this time, we remain in opposition unless amendments are taken. Thank you.
Thank you. Department of Finance.
No file.
This has a motion and a second. Would you like to close, Mr. Quirk?
I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
And it gets out on a B roll call. Thank you. Our final presentation will be Mr. Kansen Chu, who is going to present on a suspense candidate, AB 2151. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Madam Chair and the members. I'm pleased to present AB 2151, which adjusts the benefit, delivery, and verification of CalWORK special need allowance to better support low-income families with children managing hunger, nutrition, and medical conditions. Going hungry is a major contribution to ill health, especially among individuals suffering from chronic illness that require patients to adopt strict dietary measures such as diabetes and celiac disease. AB 2151 will give those families with special diet-related food needs an additional allowance of $20 or actual expense to help cover the dietary-related needs. For the almost 500,000 families that relied on CalWORK, this is crucial to keep family healthy and to support those that are already struggling to make ends meet. Today with me is Tricia Chakrabarty, Program Manager of Mandela Marketplace, to testify.
Madam Chairwoman, and thanks to the committee staff for the analysis that was prepared. I want to add 3 points to the fiscal discussion of this bill. First of all, because this section of the code was originally written before aid was given to families on an EBT card, it did not negatively impact other entitlements that family had. Now that cash aid is dispersed electronically, any additions to that will decrease the amount of federal aid in the form of CalFresh benefits that same family will receive. For every $10 we increase in their CalWORKs benefits, they see a decrease of $2 in their federal SNAP dollars. This bill makes sure that we keep more of those federal dollars in the state by adding the dietary allowance to the family's food aid benefits. Secondly, we know this allowance will positively impact long-term medical costs for families facing severe medical conditions and who are receiving care through Medi-Cal. This allowance will allow families to fully comply with the recommendations of their healthcare providers and thus will result in medical cost savings to the state. And finally, we estimate that this bill will result in fewer than 600 individuals who claim the additional dietary allowance. The impact on the state is minimal compared with the quality of life it will provide these individuals. Thank you, and I urge your aye vote.
Thank you. Additional speakers in support.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Jessica Barthlow with the Western Center on Law and Poverty. We're co-sponsor in support.
Stephanie Fahuri on behalf of the Disability Rights Legal Center and the Women's Policy Institute in support.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Eduardo Martinez with the California Medical Association. We were in opposition in Policy Committee, but wanted to thank the author and sponsors for working with us. We're going to be removing our opposition and potentially moving to support.
Thank you. Any speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
No file.
Any questions? Seeing none. This is a suspense candidate. I would just note it's a very interesting bill. I enjoyed reading about it. I would suggest that we continue to work on understanding what an upper limit of that cash allowance would be so we can set an appropriate cost to the bill. Because I think right now it says $20 or whatever is needed. That obviously makes the cost grow. So that's something I hope we continue to work with you all on. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to the consent calendar. Motion by Mr. Bigelow, second by Mr. Holden. That gets out on an A roll call, and we're going to read, Madam Secretary, all the bills on consent.
1564 Williams, 1662 Chow, 1773 Openolochi, 1864 Cooley, 1911 Eggman, 1920 Chow, 1924 Bigelow, 1931 Rodriguez, 1936 Chavez, 1941 Lopez, 1960 Lackey with amendments, 1971 Cooper, 1996 Gordon, 1998 Campos, 1999 Asajian, 2050 Steinnorth, 2068 Holden, 2106 Irwin, 2215 Medina, 2244 Gatto, 2258 Eggman, 2287 Wilk, 2307 Chow, 2317 Mullen, 2366 Dababne, 2384 Gallagher, 2533 Santiago, 2542 Gatto, 2560 Obernolte, 2615 Wood, 2620 Dababne, 2632 Olson, 2654 Bonilla, 2718 with amendments Gomez, 2721 Rodriguez, 2731 O'Donnell, 2744 Gordon, 2745 Holden, 2750 Gomez, 2766 Lopez, 2791 Medina, 2798 Gatto, 2839 Thurman, 2847 Patterson, 2853 Gatto, 2864 Chow, 2877 Committee on Human Services, 2880 Stone, 2881 Stone, 2893 Environmental Safety, 2902 Utilities and Commerce, 2808 Higher Ed, 2912 Natural Resources, 2913 GO, and ACR 148 Chow.
Thank you. And before we move to the client suspense items, I think Vice Chair Bigelow would like to.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. Prior to us reviewing the bills heading to suspense, I'd like to note today that there are 7 pending bills for review, which would impose new health insurance benefit mandates. While well-intentioned, collectively, these measures would significantly increase the cost of health insurance for all Californians. I share the goals and concerns ensuring high-quality access and affordable health care to all people. I also believe that it is essential that we consider the financial impacts these bills will have on both consumers and the state. Individually, these bills may not add up to much. However, when combined, their costs could exceed $490 million. As we evaluate their impact as a committee, I look forward to working with all to ensure that we continue to keep health care affordable for all Californians. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Bigelow. At this point, we're going to read out all the bills that have been moved to the suspense file.
1572, 1574, 1577, 1583, 1661, 1672, 1676, 1716, 1719, 1741, 1745, 1754, 1763, 1765, 1770, 1772, 1790, 1807, 1831, 1837, 1860, 1872, 1914, 1951, 1952, 1965, 1994, 1995, 2002, 2004, 2014, 2015, 2017, 2019, 2029, 2084, 2092, 2114, 2124, 2131, 2133, 2136, 2137, 2139, 2151, 2164, 2174, 2175, 2178, 2183, 2206, 2213, 2231, 2234, 2237, 2249, 2253, 2298, 2301, 2303, 2311, 2350, 2364, 2367, 2372, 2386, 2388, 2400, 2405, 2412, 2428, 2439, 2440, 2460, 2467, 2489, 2493, 2494, 2506, 2507, 2515, 2516, 2520, 2521, 2523, 2534, 2548, 2536, 2552, 2581, 2589, 2592, 2616, 2628, 2631, 2636, 2640, 2650, 2660, 2678, 2709, 2728, 2734, 2740, 2752, 2759, 2781, 2790, 2794, 2822, 2833, 2841, 2862, and 2892.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Secretary. This concludes the business before the committee today. The committee is adjourned.